The story you're about
Hello. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the greatest defensive boxer of all time, and now he's glinting at a possible entrance into the mixed martial arts arena. Everyone's first reaction would be to say a pure boxer probably does not even have a puncher's chance versus the mixed martial arts world, which is fair. The Gracies, they did prove that as a pure discipline, jiu-jitsu had the capacity to take out everyone else with relative ease. But here's the thing. The strongest pure discipline is not the strongest base discipline, which I also believe mixed martial arts has been proving as well. Let's go really deep with this. Looking at the dominance wrestlers have had in MMA, it's safe to say, as a base discipline, the wrestler, on average, has been most successful. The entire premise of the wrestler would be to attain a superior position, and it wouldn't be just through refining technique, but refining a body that helps secure it. Where jiu-jitsu would be leaning more on a cerebral, technical knowledge advantage, wrestling would be fewer technical in proportion to jiu-jitsu, but greater physical advantage, which then reinforced explosive muscles that translated perfectly into the stand-up. That's why it's almost as if every wrestler has devastating KO power. It's the explosive power generated from their hips. Their dominance starts to make a little more sense when you add the mixed martial arts, the jiu-jitsu, the stand-up, etc. Feinting their pressure load to open up shots higher, taking you to the ground, out of your element if you're a stand-up warrior. They train a way of attaining a superior position where they can implement their game whilst avoiding yours. It's the overarching philosophy that really makes a wrestler so strong. So where does Floyd tie into all of this? Now that we have a firmer understanding of base discipline, I believe boxing is also one of the strongest disciplines, when used as a base. But what about Muay Thai, kickboxing? Would you not say something more wholesome would have a greater advantage? I would say, in mixed martial arts, a more wholesome discipline does of course have a huge advantage. But again, we are looking at base discipline, the philosophy or skeleton, where you then put the meat on, the kicks, the grappling. That said, in boxing, the philosophy or sweet science, as they say, is to hit and not get hit. Learning how to throw a punch, how to hold your guard, that is core, but it's also surface, only part of the iceberg. Rhythm, timing, footwork, ring generalship, etc. It may seem simple, but its mastery is as infinite as any other discipline. Refining the simplest route to the face, hands, they play a very sophisticated game, with decision-making demanded in the milliseconds. Thus, with fists grazing, if not smashing in at every moment, from day one, it builds mental toughness, bottomless cardio, precision, pattern recognition, physical toughness, reflex. The skills cultivated extend far beyond the two hands we see. This game of hands ends up reinforcing a philosophy that also figures out your game, then exploits it with the most direct path to your face, the human hand. Understanding this, we start to see why boxer bases also have such a high success rate, not just in MMA, but actually street fighting. It's also perhaps the best discipline when facing multiple opponents. They simply spend more time reinforcing the fundamentals necessary to hit and not get hit. That said, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a magician, a boxing genius who does a lot of stuff that simply would not pass in MMA. But nonetheless, as one of the greatest, I do see him having some success, so as long as he refined his style for MMA. And then ensured he drilled the other stuff, the sprawl and brawl, to ensure he could better force a stand-up. But maybe he's too old to learn the other stuff. I made this error myself. I thought Floyd was too old considering the average age of the boxer. It's the same thing that happens in Muay Thai. Basically, whenever you spend too much time sparring, you're taking too much damage directly. One way or another, your cells get damaged. They have to replicate as a result, which then reduces telomere length, which reduces their capacity to replicate. You get older faster. But Floyd is not the average boxer. He does not have a scratch on his face. He played the game with his body in mind, in end, pretty much intact. His hands apparently took the brunt of the damage throughout his career, which actually says a lot. People mocked him for being a runner. Yeah, he does have a waiting style, but because of this, he just didn't take a lot of damage as a result. Thus, I believe he's still younger than a lot of older boxers. But what about the smaller gloves then? I believe Floyd would be able to use the Philly shell, but it would not have nearly the same level of effectiveness. He will not be able to roll the shots the same way, nor will he be able to use his high guard as effectively versus straights. Who knows though, this might actually be beneficial for his famous pull counter, which leads us to another point. If you have tried on mixed martial arts gloves versus boxing gloves, you know the way they land flush is a very different feeling. What he loses in defensive ability, he gains in knockout power. You are simply able to better utilize precision with these smaller gloves, and they have less cushioning effect, which means more of your force is transferred into the opponent. This might be bad due to Floyd's history of hand injury, but if he lands clean, especially with his brilliant countering ability, this will be a bad night for his opponent. Takedowns are probably the biggest weakness I see versus Floyd, but also leg kicks. This is where I think Floyd could really get hurt. A lifetime into his 40s without conditioning the shin through micro fissures. And then if we consider boxers have a reliance on footwork, leg kicks might be devastating. They're actually what almost every nimble fighter hates. Chopping at the quads, the hamstrings, perhaps the calf, slowing down their movement, pressuring forward. Bazooka Joe did just that versus one of the most skilled kickboxers in the world. And now we see this here, a Thai fighter versus a boxer. I'm not worried whether or not Floyd can throw kicks. I think a bigger concern would be whether or not he can take them below the belt line. A world that has been off limits throughout his career. All of this said, does Floyd have a chance in the mixed martial arts world? If this is not a marketing ploy, and he's taking his training very seriously. Source from Professor of Psychology Dr. David Klonsky, Robin Black, Fedor Emelianenko, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather himself, I can keep going. They all believe the mental aspect of the game is the most important. Thus, when it comes to Floyd, work ethic, composure, focus, etc., when it comes to the mental game, the battle with oneself, he is a king among kings. And knowing this, seeing this firsthand, I can never count out a man of this caliber. I have said this before. Conor McGregor vs. Floyd Mayweather, and now it's my turn to say it to Floyd. I will always believe in the man who embarks upon what is said to be impossible. If he is now putting in the same work with the same mindset that he used to dominate boxing, against the odds, I believe in you, Floyd Mayweather Jr. To whomever you choose to grace the arena with, I'm sure it will be my privilege to watch. If you like my work from me, please subscribe. It's great for the channel. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.